Imagine, for just a fleeting moment, that you live in a world where buying a brand new car does not require selling your non-essential internal organs on the black market or taking out a 30-year mortgage that will outlive your family pet. Welcome to the reality of the 2026 Nissan Sentra, a vehicle that feels less like a traditional automotive product launch and far more like a tactical, desperate survival mission in an industry that has gone absolutely mad with average transaction prices creeping toward the $50,000 mark. While every other automaker is busy shoving 6,000 pounds of lithium-ion batteries into luxury crossovers or jacking up suspensions to pretend we all live on a rugged rally stage, Nissan has taken their humble ninth-generation compact sedan and performed a brilliant, deeply cynical piece of aesthetic triage. They have aggressively fixed absolutely everything you can see, touch, and brag about to your neighbors, while completely ignoring the wheezing asthmatic hamster wheel hiding under the hood. It is a bold, controversial bet that in the year 2026, massive high-definition screens and a sharp, tailored suit of sheet metal matter infinitely more to the American commuter than setting a blistering lap time at your local racetrack. So, is this aggressively restyled, budget-friendly underdog a genuine game-changer that deserves a permanent spot in your driveway? Or is it just the automotive equivalent of a shiny new Instagram filter layered over a very old, very slow photograph? Stick around, because we are about to find out. Walk up to the new 2026 Nissan Sentra, and you will immediately notice that it desperately wants you to think it costs twice as much as it actually does. This is the ninth generation of a nameplate that has moved over 6.5 million units since 1982, and for the very first time in its long vanilla history, it genuinely looks like it wants to be invited to the cool kids table. The engineers executed a brilliant visual trick here. While the car has not physically grown a single inch in length from the previous generation, measuring 183.3 inches long, 71.5 inches wide, and 57.1 inches high, it looks significantly lower, wider, and meaner. That optical illusion is all thanks to a heavily revised front fascia dominated by an oversized gloss black V-motion grille flanked by incredibly slim projector light-emitting diode headlights. Unlock the doors with your key fob, and the car even performs a little welcome light show with the turn signals and high beams, which is a delightfully unnecessary touch of drama for an economy commuter car. The aggressively sculpted lines on the side profile and the optional 18-inch black aluminum alloy wheels on the SR trim give it a stance that completely shames the boring rental fleet aesthetic of its predecessors. But do not let that aggressive sports sedan costume fool you for a second, because the moment you pop the hood, the illusion crumbles into a pile of sensible, budget-conscious dust. Nissan decided to leave the old, faithful, and entirely uninspiring 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine completely untouched for this redesign. You get exactly 149 horsepower at 6,000 revolutions per minute and 146 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 revolutions per minute. In a segment where the Honda Civic is offering peppy hybrid torque and the Volkswagen Jetta packs a punchy turbocharged engine, the Sentra essentially brings a butter knife to a gunfight. When you mash the throttle to the floorboard to merge onto a busy freeway, the 0 to 60 miles per hour sprint takes a glacial 9.1 seconds. It does not so much accelerate as it gradually gathers forward momentum while loudly announcing its mechanical struggles to the entire cabin. If you are looking for a car that pushes you back into your seat, you're shopping in the wrong dealership entirely. That meager power is routed to the front wheels exclusively through Nissan's infamous Xtronic continuously variable transmission. Now, before you run to the comment section to roast Nissan's spotty transmission history, you should know that they have heavily retuned it for 2026 with a feature called D-Step Logic Control, which artificially simulates the gear shifts of a traditional automatic gearbox. It is decidedly smoother and far less rubber band-like than before, but under heavy, panicked acceleration, you still get that classic droning soundtrack of a continuously variable transmission begging for mercy. On the bright side, because the Sentra only weighs a svelte 3,100 pounds and boasts a remarkably slippery aerodynamic drag coefficient of 0.268, the fuel economy is absolutely stellar. You will consistently see up to 30 miles per gallon in the city, 38 miles per gallon on the highway, and 33 miles per gallon combined on the base S and SV trims, sipping cheap, regular unleaded fuel from a 12.4-gallon tank. It is slow, yes, but it's incredibly cheap to keep moving. Surprisingly, the Sentra actually handles corners with a level of dynamic composure that its spec sheet has absolutely no right to deliver. Nissan stiffened the unibody structure by 6% over the previous generation and utilized a sophisticated independent strut front suspension paired with a multi-link independent rear setup. While many budget rivals still use a cheap, archaic torsion beam in the back to save a few pennies, the Sentra stays firmly planted and absorbs road imperfections beautifully thanks to updated shock absorber valving and a dual-pinion electric power-assisted steering rack. To compensate for the severe lack of outright power, Nissan threw in some electronic trickery like intelligent trace control, which subtly brakes individual wheels to help the car rotate gracefully through tight turns. It's certainly not a track day sports car, not by a long shot, but it handles your daily commute with a refined, relaxed ride quality that totally betrays its bargain basement price tag. If the engine bay is where Nissan's accountants mercilessly slashed the budget, the interior is where they decided to throw a massive technology-fueled party. Step inside the 2026 Sentra and the sheer democratization of luxury hits you right in the face. The undisputed star of the show is the brand new monolith display layout, which comes standard on all but the absolute lowest base model. This glorious sweeping slab of glass seamlessly houses a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster sitting right next to a 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen. It is crisp, features a high refresh rate, is twice as bright as the previous generation, and looks like it was ripped straight out of a European luxury car. You get standard wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto integration, meaning you can finally leave those frayed, tangled charging cords in the trash where they belong and connect your smartphone effortlessly the moment you sit down. But of course, because we cannot have nice things without a catch, Nissan fell victim to the absolute worst trend in modern automotive design. They completely replaced the lovely tactile physical climate control knobs with a touch-sensitive haptic panel. Sure, it looks impossibly sleek and minimalist in the heavily retouched press photographs, but trying to adjust your air conditioning while traveling at 75 miles per hour over a bumpy, pothole-ridden highway is an exercise in pure frustration. You get absolutely no physical feedback from the panel, forcing you to take your eyes off the road just to drop the cabin temperature a couple of degrees. It is a triumph of form over function that nobody asked for. Thankfully, the corporate overlords spared the physical audio volume knob, proving that someone in that design studio still possesses a shred of human decency and common sense. Beyond the shiny screens and frustrating climate controls, the cabin is a shockingly pleasant place to spend a grueling morning commute. The front seats utilize Nissan's famous zero-gravity technology, which the marketing department loves to remind us was inspired by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. By using 14 specific pressure points to support your spine and mimic the neutral posture of the human body in a weightless environment, these seats dramatically reduce muscle fatigue and improve blood flow on long, tedious drives. Seriously, these are easily the most comfortable thrones in the entire compact segment, bar none. Step up to the top-tier SL trim, and those brilliant seats are wrapped in quilted TailorFit synthetic leather that looks and feels so incredibly soft that it genuinely belongs in a Genesis. You even get an available 64-color customizable ambient lighting system, allowing you to turn your evening drive into a low-budget neon nightclub that perfectly matches your mood. Practicality is generally solid throughout the cabin, though it is not entirely without its architectural compromises. Up front, you are totally spoiled with the best-in-class 43.8 inches of legroom, allowing even the tallest drivers to stretch out in absolute comfort. However, that sloping, aggressively styled fastback roofline eats directly into the rear passenger space. Taller adults who find themselves banished to the back seat will quickly discover their heads becoming intimately acquainted with the headliner, turning long road trips into a bit of an endurance test for their necks. The trunk, on the other hand, is a wonderfully cavernous 14.3 cubic feet, and the designers smartly lowered the liftover height and widened the opening to make hoisting heavy luggage, golf clubs, or an entire week's worth of groceries an absolute breeze. On the technology and safety front, Nissan is virtually giving the farm away to secure your hard-earned money. The Nissan Safety Shield 360 suite is completely standard on every single Sentra rolling off the assembly line, bringing crucial features like automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, rear cross-traffic alert, lane departure warning, and blind spot warning. If you decide to spring for the higher trims, you unlock Pro Pilot Assist, a fantastic semi-autonomous system that combines adaptive cruise control with lane-centering steering to completely take the stress out of horrific stop-and-go highway traffic. Add in a surprisingly rich 8-speaker Bose premium audio system that fills the cabin with deep bass, a wireless device charging pad, and the clever MyQ universal garage door opener integration right in the touchscreen, and you have a technology roster that completely shames luxury cars costing $10,000 more. So, where exactly does this 2026 Nissan Sentra in the grand cutthroat arena of the American car market? Let us talk cold, hard cash, because that is where this car truly shines. The bare-bones base S trim starts at a jaw-dropping $22,600, while the fully loaded leather-lined SL trim tops out at $27,990 before you factor in the $1,245 destination charge. In a volatile market where purchasing a Honda Civic Sport Touring Hybrid will easily force you to write a massive check for over $32,000, the sheer value proposition of the Nissan Sentra is absolutely undeniable. You are walking away with top-tier digital technology, incredible seat comfort, comprehensive safety features, and aggressive exterior styling for the price of a lightly used 5-year-old hatchback. Of course, the Sentra is not without its glaring, unavoidable flaws. If you prioritize razor-sharp driving dynamics, communicative steering feedback, or an engine that does not sound like a kitchen blender full of rocks when you aggressively step on the gas pedal, you are going to be profoundly disappointed. The Honda Civic offers a far superior, engaging chassis that actually rewards the driver. The Toyota Corolla provides the bulletproof peace of mind that comes with legendary Japanese reliability and an available all-wheel drive hybrid system that hits 50 miles per gallon. The Volkswagen Jetta gives you that punchy turbocharged torque that the Sentra so desperately lacks on the highway. But for the vast majority of drivers who simply want a stylish, immensely comfortable, technology-packed commuter car that will not utterly destroy their monthly budget, the Sentra is a masterstroke of knowing exactly what the average customer actually cares about. The 2026 Nissan Sentra survives the terrifying crossover apocalypse by offering a genuine segment-above luxury experience at a segment-below price point, proving that the affordable American sedan is not quite dead just yet. It remains to be seen if that continuously variable transmission will hold up flawlessly over the next 100,000 miles, or if buyers will eventually demand more horsepower under the hood. But for right now, it is an incredibly tempting piece of showroom bait. So I pass the ultimate question off to you. In a world full of overpriced sport utility vehicles and $35,000 compacts, would you sacrifice raw engine performance for this gorgeous, tech-heavy interior and a $23,000 price tag? Or are you happily paying the massive premium to park a Honda Civic in your garage? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more brutally honest automotive reviews.